The winter morning was sharp enough to sting through the thick glass walls of the towering corporate building, but inside, everything was polished, controlled, and precise. The CEO, Daniel Reed, stood above the city like he owned it, signing papers that moved millions with just a stroke of ink. He lived in a world where problems were solved with meetings, and emotions were a luxury. Yet all the power in his hands meant nothing in the moment he heard the trembling voice behind him. A tiny whisper floated through the office air, breaking the silence like a crack in glass. "Sir, my mom isn't waking up." He turned and saw a little girl, not older than 6, with tangled hair, swollen eyes, and hands shaking as she clutched a torn school bag. Her words made his heartbeat stumble, and his mind froze. In that instant, the world outside, the decisions, the business deals, all of it vanished. Only the child remained. Without thinking, Daniel whispered back, "Take me to her." If you believe kindness and second chances can change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe right now. Your support helps us create more stories with meaning. Daniel didn't know why he reacted that way. He had seen thousands of strangers rushing across sidewalks, heard countless pleas for help through fundraisers, and passed every kind of suffering without stopping. Yet this child had pierced a part of him he didn't know still existed. The girl pulled on his coat sleeve, and he followed her out of the office, past the confused assistants calling his name. His polished shoes splashed in puddles as they walked through cold streets. The girl's neighborhood was a stark contrast to his world: broken streetlights, peeling walls, and apartment doors scarred by years of hardship. She walked fast, her steps desperate, as though every second mattered. When they reached the cramped apartment, the air smelled faintly of medicine and dampness. The room was dim, and on a worn-out mattress lay a young woman, her face pale, her lips dry, breathing shallow and weak. The child whispered, "Mom, he's here." The woman didn't move. Daniel knelt beside her. It felt strange to him. He had kneeled only in boardrooms once, picking up fallen papers or helping a client, but never beside a stranger fighting for life. He checked her pulse the way he remembered from a first aid course years ago. She was alive, but fading. Time seemed to slow, and the child's soft sobs felt louder than sirens. Something inside him awakened, a memory he had buried deep, his own mother, lying helpless, her hands cold while he, a scared boy, waited for help that never came. He had promised himself he would never relive that moment. Yet here he was, holding the fragile hand of another mother, as if fate had brought him back to the moment he lost everything. He called for an ambulance, his voice unsteady in a way his staff had never heard before. While waiting, he looked around the room and saw drawings taped to the wall, a little girl holding hands with her mother, smiling under a sun drawn with uneven rays. There were no expensive toys, no thick blankets, only love captured on paper. The mother's phone lay near her pillow, screen cracked, with unanswered messages from her employer. She worked at a cleaning service, one of the companies under his own corporation. He realized painfully that while he enjoyed luxury, she scrubbed floors of buildings he owned, paid barely enough to survive. The guilt hit him like ice water. At the hospital, Daniel stayed close. He signed papers, paid bills without hesitation, and watched the doctors rush the woman through corridors. The girl clung to his coat, her small fingers digging into his sleeve as if he was the only certainty left in her world. Hours passed, filled with waiting and sterile silence. Daniel tried to talk to the girl, gently, learning her name, Lily. Her voice was soft, filled with fear, yet there was strength too, the kind that only children forced to grow up too fast could carry. She told him her mom worked 2 jobs, walked her to school every morning, kissed her forehead every night, even when she was exhausted. Lily's eyes were proud when she spoke about her mother, as though the tired woman on the hospital bed was her hero, and to her, she truly was. When the doctor finally returned, Daniel's heart pounded like it was his own mother inside that room. The doctor explained that Lily's mother collapsed from severe exhaustion, dehydration, and untreated illness. Years of pushing herself for survival had finally broken her body. She needed treatment, rest, and care. Lily began crying softly, not from fear anymore, but from relief. Daniel felt something warm rise in his chest, something he had not allowed himself to feel in years. He realized how far success had taken him from humanity. He had become lonely inside a castle of glass, forgetting the world outside. Daniel didn't leave after the good news. He stayed through the night. He arranged better accommodation for Lily and her mother, hired nurses, and ensured she was paid full salary with benefits during recovery. His company policies changed in days, offering better support, medical care, and emergency funds for the workers he had never seen as more than ID numbers. His board questioned the cost, but he stared back at them with a fierceness none of them expected. "No one working for me should collapse from hunger," he said. His voice wasn't just the voice of a CEO, it was the voice of a man rediscovering his heart. Weeks later, Lily's mother woke up stronger. The first thing she saw was her daughter drawing on her bedside table, with Daniel sitting nearby, watching with gentle eyes. Lily smiled and said she made a new drawing. It was of 3 people holding hands under the same sun. The woman looked at the picture, then at Daniel, and tears filled her eyes. She tried to speak, to thank him, but he shook his head. He didn't want gratitude. He wanted redemption. Life slowly changed for them. Lily returned to school, her laughter brighter, her steps lighter. Her mother gained her health back, found a safer job inside Daniel's company, where she was respected. Daniel visited them often, not because he felt responsible, but because he felt something like family, something he thought he had lost forever. Through helping them, he had helped himself heal. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us inspire more people with real emotional stories. Before the story ends, please comment below. Kindness can save lives. Daniel walked once again through the same streets where he had first followed Lily, but this time he saw the world differently, not as a CEO above it all, but as a man walking among people who carried invisible battles every day. He understood now that power meant nothing if it couldn't protect the vulnerable. The trembling whisper of a little girl had not just saved her mother, it had saved him too. And sometimes, the strongest moment in a person's life is not when they rise with success, but when they kneel for a stranger and choose kindness.